have been moving on from relationships. We have Lizzy Wanyoike, who is the founder of Nibs College. And she had a really interesting article that she had, interview that she had done, where she revealed some crazy information that after 25 years of marriage, she left her husband with nothing but a handbag and a car, okay? Ooh. She went on to say how they had a 16-year age difference, that they didn't really know each other when they first started dating. She met him in college, then next thing you know, they're married. He had his own children, she had her children, and now she could see the difference in lives between her stepkids and her kids. And she went on to say, despite that, he was a very good man, and if to be born again, I would still get married to him. When he noticed the differences in our interests, he would allow me time to go and do stuff matching my age. At some point, the differences became too much, and we parted. One day, I came home, and the watchman refused to let me in. Ooh. I was with my last born child in the car, so I only left with the car, and it was under my name and my handbag. Luckily, I had written the house under my son's name, so I sold it and started Nibs, which is how she was able to start her business. Yo. Let me tell you, this is a strong woman, because how many times do you hear of women who have been in relationships for 30 years, 40 years, 50 years? Some of us, it's our parents, it's our uncles, it's our aunties. In the African culture, we don't look at divorce, especially as the woman, and leaving a relationship. You just sit there and you suffer. You keep on getting those whips and lashes on your back as if you're Jesus. Let me tell you, you're not Jesus, okay? You're not meant to be in this world to suffer. And regardless of the time that you spent in the relationship, regardless of how old you are, regardless of what's gone on, when you've reached a point where you can no longer stay in the relationship, that's when it's time to go. And I was shocked when the watchman actually refused her and her child to come into the house, meaning his child as well. I'm glad that she was able to say, this is where I say no. She had a limit, and she was like, this can't continue, and now I'm just leaving. And it's no longer a thing of like, I'm fighting for this and that. I'm trying to get his aunties and his uncles and his grandmother to come and tetea for me. You just need to leave a relationship. And I applaud that, because I'm not against divorce, let me tell you. There's certain things that I'm not willing to take in a relationship that even after 5 years, 10 years, 1 month of marriage, I'm willing to leave.
Absolutely. And here's the thing that I loved about her story particularly. First of all, the importance of living on your own. Like, I can't insist enough about the fact that you as a young man, you as a young woman somewhere, before you move out from your mother's house and go straight and living with some other person, you've never lived on your own. You don't know who you are on your own. Because if you live one nest, you live in one nest getting into another nest. You've never really had a chance to, you know, fly, get your own, breathe your own air and know what kind of air you actually prefer. Eat your own food and know what kind of food you deserve. You know, there's so many things about living on your own that we people take for granted. And it's very, very vital. I cannot insist enough. If and when you can, immediately after you leave your parents' house, please take a chance, even if it's a month, and live on your own. Because you will learn so much about yourself, so much about what you can tolerate, so much about what you can take. And that will set you up for something successful. You will not allow people to take advantage of you. You will not allow people to actually walk all over you because you're not a child. You can live on your own, yeah? It takes away that fear, that element of, okay, what am I going to do? If I now leave, if he leaves me, what do I do? Where do I go? It's very vital. Another thing that I loved about this story was she put the car in her name. Hello?
Amen.
She put the car in her name, because trust me, were it in anybody else's name, she would have left that car at that gate. And now she's walking. Mitsubishi is you and yourself and your children, because this man clearly doesn't care. And the house was also under her son's name. Listen, own your own property, even if it's a spoon. That spoon, you can walk with it with your head held high and be like, I bought this spoon. This is mine. It's my property. And it helps you so much when you're now transitioning. In case, God forbid, anything happens to your marriage or your relationship, at least you have something. You have somewhere to land your feet. That's how she started Nibs. Had she not had that house under her son's name, do you think she would have been able to do that? It would have probably taken many, many more years. It would have taken so much more strife and so much anguish. And then people now start getting depressed and sad. It's important to own your own property, even if you're in a confinement of a marriage. Okay. Those are the two things I took away from that story. But congratulations to you for now making sure that younger people have an education, because it's important for people to have an education. She did well.
I agree with that.
Performing, I agree with you. And you know, we need to empower ourselves as women such that if you're in a toxic relationship, toxic marriage, you're able to come out of it. Because most of us are not able to come out of our toxic relationships because we don't have money, we don't have jobs, had to just soma, we don't have certificates. Like you're just thinking, am I gonna start afresh? Like it's just a lot. Then you decide, let me just take his crap because I don't have anywhere else to go and I don't have money and I don't have means. So let's, tumalize shule, number one. Let's tumalize shule, let's have those certificates so that liwe liwalo, you have your papers, you're gonna get a job. Don't just stay home and be a housewife. For her to even put the car and the house and her name and the son's name was quite an amazing thing to do. She is a smart woman. And then again, if you're not a smart woman, utajua utafanya nini? Surely, kusema kweli, even if you're given a car. Like these days, what happens is that you meet a sponsor, they buy you a car, they buy you a house, but awandiki under your name. So, inasaidia nini? You just want to floss on social media? No. So, for me, it's like... when you're dating someone, age is nothing but a number to some people, but to some people, it actually matters. Because from her story, you can tell that this husband is, he became controlling. And he wanted her to do stuff his way, and they just had to part ways. Yeah. So, we're gonna have...
She got so passionate about it.
I don't know why it always happens all the time. I always have something to say, then Ayuma does something, then